Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is many a true nerd, and welcome back to Skies of Arcadia, where last time we made our way here, to the ruins of ice under the purple moon, and today we're going to be exploring those ruins, which, you know, according to Enrique, should be completely abandoned and empty, and let's just say, that's not entirely true. Still, step one as we just mosey into, yes, the opening rooms is, we've got to get past this city's security system, which is still operational after all these years. The security system being this lovely, mysterious, glowy thing here. This is basically an old world computer still active after all these years, so if we just, you know, have a quick chat with it, it's basically going to figure out whether it thinks I'm worthy of being here and accessing the city of Glacia. So answer my query and open your own path. Deep within the purple moonstone lies the power to hold the world still. What is this power? The power of fire, the power of ice, the power of lightning. So, okay, nice easy one to get us kicked off. And you may notice, of course, there are 3 options, just as there are 3 doors in this room. Each answer opens one of the doors. If you get it right, you get to move on to the next area proper. If you don't, you get dumped into a fight. Still, I'm pretty confident, yes, just looking around me, that the power of ice was the right answer, so in which case, on we go, and we get to go on a quick slide down to the next room. Mega flippin'-nificent. I appreciate any game where you get to, like, you know, use a slide on occasion. And there we go, you know, we've moved on and not just been returned to the starting room because the computer's now a different colour. So alright, keep on keeping on, and okay, let's just say after that first question, you might be expecting they're all going to be incredibly easy. Oh no, no. One of these questions, I still don't know entirely why the answer is what it is to this cocking day. And speaking of which, here we flipping go. The purple crest hides a certain number. What is that number? Now, there is a very good chance, even if you've been watching this series really closely, your response to this might be, hang on, what's the purple crest? Because it almost never appears in the game. But yes, every element has got a crest associated with it. I'm going to put them on screen, all 6 of them, right now. So, the purple crest hides a certain number, and, okay, you're probably thinking, John, this doesn't seem that difficult. Like, you know, I can see the dots. The answer is obviously 3. So, fun fact, 3 isn't an option. Despite the fact that, you know, the crest clearly contain the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 3's not the answer. The answer has to be 2, 4, or 6. Now, to this day, I'm wondering if someone made a mistake in the translation, because bloody hell, the answer is obviously 3. Like, the only way the answer can be the answer that the game gives, which is 2, by the way, the correct answer is 2, is if, like, you know, we look in the background of the purple crest, and see, like, you know, it's like a block of ice cut in 2, kind of, but, like, the answer's blatantly 3, and I'm convinced the game just shipped with a mistranslation in it. But yes, the correct answer according to the game is 2, and I have no idea precisely why that is. But there we go, you hear there the lovely noise of, you know, your swashbuckler rating going up, meaning you got the answer right first time, though, seriously, why the cock is the answer 2? Still, straight down slide number 2, I'm not going to complain if it gets me another go on a slide, magnificent. And here we go, the 3rd and final exam. So, yellow computer wants me to answer one final query, beautiful. Purple moonstones affect the ability of living things. What are the abilities most valued by the people of Glacia? The options being power and courage, will and spirit, and life and healing. So, again, this is not the most obvious question. Like, life and healing, you would say, okay, that's probably the green moon, so that's not the right answer, but, yeah. Power and courage versus will and spirit. There's nothing really about the purple moon and its civilization that tells you one or the other. In fact, the only way to know this for certain is very obscure indeed. And that's the seeds that we've been picking up this entire time, because on occasion, purple enemies will drop seeds that boost your will, suggesting, like, a link between magic and the purple moon. Even though, like, all the moons that you do magic, that's kind of what they're for, but okay. The answer is will and spirit, and I do not blame anyone who gets this wrong or has to just guess, because these questions are really obscure. And there we go, one final door opens. I have passed the surprisingly difficult exam here in Skies of Arcadia. And because I've demonstrated to the city I know what I'm talking about, we now get to move on to Glacia proper. This looks like the last door. And here we go, out into an incredibly misty room. I can barely see what's in front of me. And it's so cold, even the air is freezing. So, right, for the time being, we can't really see what's going on. So in we go to the mysterious room, and advise I'd be a bit careful if I were... Never mind. Vice decides to, stroll into the incredibly misty room where he can't see what he's bloody doing. But don't worry, I'm sure Vice is fine. No, please don't follow him. Don't immediately follow him. Vice, where'd you go? And the answer turns out to be, fortunately, not that far down. He was just able to grip on before he fell to his death. So, okay, let's all be like, a bit more careful before we go any deeper into Glacia. And speaking of which, conveniently enough, the fog clears at this exact moment in time, letting us see the city of Glacia. And I will say, it's rather pretty. So, yes, on this occasion, because this is like, underground, under the purple continent, yeah, the city is kind of clinging to the ceiling like a series of icicles, just as Ica says, and I can't deny, I do rather like the architecture here. And here we go, Athena providing some useful information. The people that lived here were powerful mages. Using the powers of the purple moon, they built this city, so yes, presumably under the ice for their own protection. And it turns out it worked out pretty well for them, or at least for their city, I suppose, because yes, the city being below the ice, it was unharmed by the rains of destruction. So Glacia is as it was during the time of the old world. So, right, unlike Rixis that was destroyed, full of craters and whatnot, this city is still mostly intact. Hence why, the computer system's still running. But in which case, Ica asking a very good question here. What happened to the people who were living here in the event that, their city's absolutely fine? And that is a bit of a mystery. The people of Glacia just disappeared. Nobody knows where they went or why they left. So alright, maybe they left their city to invade another land. So, okay, Fina making, a bit of a negative assumption about the people of Glacia, but based on what happened elsewhere in the old world, it's not entirely impossible. Also, super cute touch. Given it's supposed to be so cold in here, yes, Vice does actually have lovely icy breath while he's in the city. I think that's a lovely touch. So, right, time to start exploring, and in a very similar way to Rixis, the way we're going to be getting around is a floating platform. So, yes, that does make navigation a bit on the tricky side, because you can't always tell when you step on a platform precisely where it's going to go, or what the best way to get to, various other bits and pieces is. Still, for the time being, there's only one way to go. We just have to follow the only walkway, and I do appreciate, by the way, how, it's all kind of icy, so you can see through it to the pillars below it, and then all the way down to the open sky. Glacia is beautiful. Though, yes, even though it's like, empty in terms of its original people, that most certainly does not mean there aren't monsters here. Oh no, there are quite a few cocky monsters actually. Including the return of this terrifying monstrosity from Rixis, though, on this occasion obviously, it's the ice variant, and that's good. Like, this makes the ice dungeon not so difficult to deal with, because most enemies are naturally ice-coded. Ice-coded can very easily be dealt with using fire. Not least as, do not forget, Ica and her amazing lollipop, every single one of her S moves are colour-coded red, so if you get swarmed by a very large number of enemies, you've always got Lambda Burst available. And on top of that, do not forget, we just picked up Piran Boxers back on Crescent Isle, so okay, we are swimming in ways to deal with the locals. This is not going to be a problem. So here we go, Vice goes in for a quick Cutlass Fury, doing a very impressive 2,000 damage, but even so, yes, that is not enough to get the kill. Here comes the Pyram box, so hits everybody, should do okay but not spectacular damage, but then again, like, you know, this giant monstrosity right here, he is a tough cookie. Like, it's not too surprising he could take even all of this. But yeah, second Cutlass Fury should just about do the job, though, okay, do not underestimate the surviving wildlife here in Glacia. It could be a bit on the nasty side, like, anything that needs 2 Cutlass Furies to take down is not nothing. Okay, here we go, our first junction, and I believe, yes, we want to be taking a left first to get down to, yeah, that treasure chest we saw earlier. So, just a mosey round the corner, dealing with the locals as we go. Ah, you see, now this is more flipping like it. Ancient, icy, robotic security system droids. I love it. So, right, this here, precisely what Lambda Burst should be really, really good at dealing with. And if that doesn't work, a basic Piri should be enough to finish the job. So, right, let's see how well a Lambda Burst, so you know, fire, very appropriate in terms of element, can work against these guys, even though we're in a fairly late game area. And you know what? Well cocked done, Ica. So, Lambda Burst may be, you know, falling behind a bit, but against the right enemies, it's still got a role to play. So okay, just a loop down the path, and here we flipping go. And if I'm remembering correctly, one ice splitter. And that there is a boomerang for Ica, though, right. We're straight back to, you know, the eternal debate on Ica, which is, do you prioritize power, or do you prioritize other stuff instead? Because the ice splitter is way more powerful, no question there whatsoever, but you're losing a lot of accuracy, and you're also giving up, yes, the ability to confuse any enemy that's not immune to confuse. So, you know what? No. I like the Swarmerang too much, we're keeping it for now. Oh, and hello, sexy. We've got a brand new enemy. So, the Frost Worm. Very literally a worm that's frozen inside its own tiny mini iceberg thing. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll just attack you with, yes, regular attacks right here so I can clear the rest of the fields. Okay, well done, Fina, for getting in first, attacking with a Piri, and blimey. With that new focus robe, that was a basic Piri, doing, like, you know, 700 damage to those enemies. Like, that just aggressively outperforms what I could do with Lambda Burst. Like, Lambda Burst is good against groups of weak enemies, but at this point, really, we're going to be wanting to, yeah, change over to Fina using fire magic. It is just going to do vastly more damage. As for you, sir, honestly, yes, you don't seem too scary, all things considered. So just everyone do basic attacks. It should be able to finish you off and no trouble whatsoever. Right, back to the junction. Turn the other direction, though. Yes, do bear in mind, Fina is now kicking a huge amount of arse with her magic, but it does come at a cost. And do just remember, Fina's defenses are now lower than they used to be. She is going to be way easier to pick off. We've got to keep her protected with, you know, Delta Shield, Justice Shield, etc, etc. Anyway, keep on keeping on. One more branch, and yes, off to the left as you go around this tower on the left of the city. We got ourselves one more chest dead ahead of us, and I believe this one is, hang about. Okay, did I actually get to the chest or not? Because I'm pretty sure Zivelin Bane is in that chest, and on this occasion, no, I did not make it to the chest. Still nothing too much to worry about with the Pyram boxers doing the job, though, yeah, taking out the giant monstrosity in one round, that's a bit tricky. And that can be a problem because, yes, he does have some rather powerful attacks. Fortunately, on this occasion, he did not crack it out. But yes, he can do a quake that can do, like, you know, a good 1,000 damage to the whole team. Oh, and perfect timing, that's just enough to push Avise up to level 39. Lovely. Right, 2 more steps forward, and this is going to be Zivelin Bane. I love Zivelin Bane. Zivelin Bane's great. And you know what, Fina? Given you're wearing your gigantically powerful focus robe, how about you give the lad a Crystalline, the ultimate ice ability, given you are literally currently inside the center of ice magic. So here we go, Avise goes in for a basic Cutlass Fury, that does a 1,700. Okay, the question is, Fina, can you beat that? Because, okay. I think she might be able to come close, damn it. Crystalline coming in, basically just stabbing your opponent with a giant number of... you know what? I would have expected slightly more, but 1,000 is still pretty bloody good for only 4 spirits. In fact, yeah, if we're lucky and we do the same thing again, we can probably finish him off of this round. Okay, he's down on the ground from Cutlass Fury already, and Fina just gets the kill. We didn't even need to hand it over to Enrique. Well done, team. Oh, and speaking of which, yes, that's the exact seed I was mentioning earlier, together with a winter orb that's just for selling. But there we go. I think, yes, this item description is the only way you'd realistically know ahead of time that the purple moon was specifically associated with magic more than any of the other moons. So yeah, the seed of the Isle tree, which blooms under a full purple moon, increases will by 3. So naturally, over to Fina. Anyway, keep on keeping on to the bottom, and we've got our next elevator moving us on to the next section of the city. And on this occasion, right, we're going up top, and straight away, we've got a whole bunch of options available to us. It's another big old junction, though. Okay, as you've probably guessed, the save point, that's going to be the last path we go along. Step 1, do not neglect this, yes, lovely tiny platform to the south just because it looks empty. It's not, there's a cham on it. Path number 2, obviously, yes, we've got one more treasure chest ahead too, containing the much more interesting Frost Blades. It's been a while, but we finally got a new weapon for Enrique, so, I mean, I can't deny, I did like the Blade of Slumber for putting enemies to sleep, but, yeah, confusing enemies, that's just as good, and it's a big step up in power. And agonizingly, there is, yes, 1 or 2 things that we simply can't get at this point, which is... yes, you may notice over here, say, there is a door, there is a chest, and there is a moonfish. So, you're probably expected to, you know, hop on a platform, go over there, catch the moonfish, open the chest, etc, etc. And right now, we can't. There is no way to get to that chest, that moonfish, or that door. We have to come back here later. That moonfish basically exists purely to taunt us. So we will not let it bother us, we will turn our back on it, and we will move on down the one remaining path. After, you know, dropping a coward save. Here we go, a giant red temple or something, so, you know, just a mosey forwards. I'm sure nothing bad's about to happen, and... never mind something bad happens, so say hello to the boss of the Purple Temple. On this occasion, yes, I think we're supposed to understand this is like, you know, a machine. A bigger, more exciting, sexy, dramatic version of the various automated drones we've run into previously. In general, Veltan is not so dangerous, but, yes, it does have one very, very nasty trick up its sleeve that means you do not want this fight to be dragging on for too long. So, right. Vice, you just get in, see what we could do with a Cutlass Fury, given, yeah, the advantage is, it's purple, so red is extraordinarily effective. Like, you know, a bonus of 40% damage, I think. And just out of interest, yeah, let's see what a Pyram does against him, even though he's a single target. As for you, Enrique, yeah, I'd say just a focus for the time being. You're not going to be doing much with your basic attacks. And here we flipping go, he gets to go first, so right, you are pretty on the fast side, buddy. Avalauncher, good attack and aim, I'll give you. Lovely, lovely swing of his wings, does a fair whack of damage, and looks like an error effect, I think it is. But yeah, on this occasion we got lucky, it only hit Vice, so 1,500, not so bad, and we did maybe, yeah, quarter of his health in return. So, you know what, I will take that, that's reasonable, and I'm not expecting too much from Pyram, but we'll see, maybe his magic defense isn't so good, so... 300. Probably not worth doing. Like, you know, at a certain level, the way magic defense scaling works in this game, there's just not much point using certain weaker spells against particularly tough enemies. Still, we've got just enough for Pirate's Wrath right now, so I'm going to say that's a very good thing. Ica, make sure that, yes, Vice gets off that, you know, full-on Sacralin here. They're not that expensive, just, you know, make sure Vice stays upright. Honestly, everyone else just focus. This one's probably all down to Vice. And, yes, that may or may not be a good thing, because, okay, I'm kind of hoping this might be the kill right here. Like, a 2-shot kill, well, 3-shot if you include Vina, but she barely did anything, damn it. That would be amazing. But can we get the kill in a single hit right now? I think we'll probably fall just shy, and never mind 8,000 cocking damage. And that is good, because that thing has got a special death beam, which basically guarantees a kill. If he fires it at you, you die. So, yes, it's good that we took him out really, really fast. But then, you know, any enemy that's red or purple has a huge weakness to the counter element. So, yeah, purple enemies are not going to be able to stand long against a Vise with Pirate's Wrath on a red sword. Oh, and hilariously, he awards us with a Crystalline box. We don't need that. Toss it on the pile. We could just buy those from my home base at this point. So, pretty simple boss, but, yes, would you believe we're not quite done yet? Just because he's dead, there's a tiny bit more here, and, yeah, this is the point where that whole, oh yeah, this city is completely empty, etc., turns out to be not entirely true. And seriously, look at the cooking ice crest. 3! 3 is the number that is hidden inside the ice crest game. Oh, and don't get so distracted, by the way, you missed the treasure chest off to the right next to the final door. Nothing dramatic, just a moonberry once again, just to add it to the cocking pile. And I just wanted to, yes, make a double sure there wasn't a charm hidden the other side. Don't worry, there's not. Job done. So, right, let's move on because, yes, until we've actually got the crystal in our hands, the job is not complete. So in we go, and once again, yes, the fog is very, very thick. We don't know what we're walking into, so please do not just walk in like, you know, slow, steady. Last time you just walked into the fog, you did almost fall to your death, but on this occasion, we're not the only people here. Someone's beaten us to the ruins of Glacia. But would you cocking believe on this occasion, it's an old friend, who many of you probably thought we were never going to see again. Oh, Drachma, it is nice to have you back, buddy. And I could run straight in for a hug, lovely. So, right, Drachma, it turns out, is not dead. He's right here in Glacia, and if you start thinking about, you know, where we last were with Drachma, you might be able to predict what's about to be revealed. It's been a while, Captain, but I had a feeling you survived the attack. And Captain, what are you doing at the bottom of Glacia? So, right, time to get to, you know, the bottom of this here mystery. And alright, no answer for the time being. Instead, he walks away from us. So, okay, keep on keeping on. And, yes, indeed, you might recognise the shape in the background. And there we go. It's flipping Rachnam. And alright, once again, Drachma just instructing us to follow after him. So there we go, Rachnam just laid out right here at the very bottom of Glacia. Yes, Rachnam is not looking so hot. Is he dead? No, he's still alive, but he was badly wounded by Ramirez's ships. It's a fatal wound. Rachnam is dying. There we go. He opens his eyes and seizes for a moment. So, there we go. He knows we're here, but yes, he's now far too weak to do anything about it. When Rachnam fled, I got pulled along. If it wasn't attached to him, the ship would have been destroyed. This is his home. And Captain, you mean to tell me you've been alone here with Rachnam the whole time? And yes, indeed he has. So, we don't know, like, you know, precisely how long this is, but bear in mind, yeah, Vise was on that island for several weeks, and a lot's happened since then. And Enrique perhaps is maybe a tiny bit quicker on the uptake because he's noticed something weird about Rachnam. A light shimmering inside a mysterious crest. And yes, indeed, that's the cocking moon crystal. It must be, which would mean that this Arc Whale Rachnam is and always has been the purple Giga. It turns out that yes, Recumen was not the first Giga we took on. We were attacked by the purple Giga before we even knew what that meant. And according to Fina, yes, Rachnam is just a name given to this whale in modern times. The name of the purple Giga is Plagoth. According to the legends, the citizens of the Purple Civilization implanted the purple crystal into a living creature. And that means Ragnar was once a normal arc whale, so yes, he's a bit different to the other ones we've run into. The implication is they were like created somehow, but instead, yes, Ragnar was almost mutated, if you will. That's the reason he's vastly larger than any other arc whale. I think after Ragnar had been transformed into the purple Giga, his master perished, and he has been wandering the skies ever since. Of course, unlike, any other Giga, given he's got the crystal implanted into him, he can't just become dormant. Instead, he's just been active, wandering around, trashing stuff for however long it's been since the old world, thousands of years perhaps. And Captain, why did you stay here all this time? If the little Jack is here with you, why didn't you just leave? And alright, it's possible that yes, Drachma's view on things has changed a bit. I've spent my life searching for Ragnar to avenge my crew and my son. I wasted all those years. Ragnar saved me from Ramirez. I just thought I could watch over him in his last moments. It's the least I could do. Alright, no one's really got anything to say to that, and unfortunately, yes. Speaking of those last moments, with an eerie cry, it might be time. What's wrong? I'm here for you. And there we go, a single tear forms. It's time for you to go. Time for you to join your friends. Goodbye. The eye closes, and the final tear falls. And as Ragnar passes away, him and the crystal were tied together. Because he's no longer alive, the crystal simply falls out onto the ground. So there we go. We get the crystal, but in many ways it doesn't really do much anymore, given there is no purple Giga. And I'm sorry, Captain. Still, Fina's mission was to gather the crystals, so she's decided to collect it anyway. And as for Drachma, he's joined us back on the ship, and with Ragnar having passed away, though not in the way he thought it was going to happen, it's finally time to let go of the feathers, as they all just flutter away into the breeze. And it's nice to see the little Jack up and about too, so yes, presumably he repaired it over the previous months while watching over Ragnar. And Captain, are you really going to leave us again? And I'm gonna be honest, Fina, it's kind of what he does. Like, Drachma shows up, he wanders off, he joins the party, he leaves the party. This is his entire cocking thing. Chasing Ragnar was my reason for living. And now I've got to start over. So alright, he's got a lot of thinking to do. When you're as old as me, it's not easy to change your ways. I'm sorry, but I can't go with you. So alright, should we let him go? And yeah, we should let him go, or we should stop him. No, we definitely shouldn't, kidnap him, tie him down, and force him to join our crew. That would be a very bad idea. We should definitely just let him go. And there we go, the good music plays because we didn't just engage in kidnapping. So yes, Drachma is a bit of a lone time just to figure out what he wants. But now we know he's alive, the little Jack is out there too, we will most definitely be seeing the lad again in future. And Captain, before you go, there's something I wanted to tell you. You said that you and Ragnar were both alone. But you're not alone, Captain. We've been with you the whole time. Oh my goodness, it's the power of friendship once again. No matter how far apart we become, we'll still be sailing in the same sky. Oh, Vise, you good egg, I love you. The same sky, the same clouds, the same wind. We'll always be together in one way or another. We'll never forget you. Oh, Vise, that was lovely. But don't worry, as I say, we're going to be seeing Drachma again. It's fine. And off he goes to have his own adventures. So, oh, Drachma, it was nice to see you again, damn it. And with that, we are officially done with the entirety of the Purple Moon Crystal, and okay, it's time to acknowledge something about Skies of Arcadia. because right now you may well be a bit on the confused side. After all, you know, getting hold of the red crystal and the green crystal and the blue crystal, that was a big adventure. We had to, like, you know, go to a new continent, find new towns and meet new people, fight through multiple dungeons, engage in big shit fights, etc, etc. The Lands of Ice, we basically arrived in at the end of last episode, and we're already cocking done, and yes, this is a very odd thing about Skies of Arcadia that I cannot fully explain to you. You see, I love Skies of Arcadia. I think it has got an amazing opening. And, like, you know, the early game and the mid game, absolutely fantastic. Like, you know, everything we've seen so far, absolutely brilliant. And the finale is a showstopper. But that finale is creeping up on us very, very fast indeed, because at some point in the development of Skies of Arcadia, it's pretty clear that Sega ran out of something. Maybe it was money, maybe it was time, maybe it was ideas, but there is just a very brief bit of the game which is suddenly extraordinarily accelerated. Like, the purple crystal and the yellow crystal to come are both going to be in our hands in no cocking time whatsoever. And I've never found anyone who's been willing to, like, you know, say for certain why this happens, like why the game suddenly speeds up, but don't worry, because all this means really is we are now very close to the game's big final act, and bloody hell, is that incredible from start to finish. And as for the lack of a big shit fight, don't worry, that we can correct right now. Because, you see, floating around above the Lands of Ice is a giant monstrosity that obviously isn't the purple Giga, but it's still worth taking out, because this is one of the 4 unique monsters you need to hunt down for a couple of important reasons. So, right, you buddy, let's just mosey up to you and have a nice chat, by which I mean I'm planning to shoot you in the face. Say hello to Alania, a gigantic flying spider crab thing that just circles around the Lands of Ice. And okay, first round is a bit dangerous. We've got a moonstone cannon coming in guaranteed, which is good, so make sure we save up a tiny bit of focus for that. I'll tell you what, Vice, put like 1 attack on it just so we can see how tough it is. Meanwhile, Ica, you guard, Athena, you're on Apowax duty, and Enrique, you just guard against Jess, you're the red turn, though. To be honest, despite the colour red, yes, this creature is really not that dangerous. And also, one of its attacks is called Shaggy, which is hilarious, and look at that, 1,200 damage. Like, I feel like, you know, red is overselling how dangerous this creature is, though I suppose technically you can stumble across this the moment you get the Delphinus, so, you know, our Delphinus is relatively well set up for this. And here comes attack number 2, Spiral. So yes, it's kind of like, you know, webbing me up and whatnot, but it's really not doing much, to be honest. So, right, you've not done much to me, let's see what we can do to you. And 12 cocking thousand of a basic cannon strike. So, right, this, sir, is why you don't get to be the purple Giga, dear flippin' dear. So, swing round to the front, get behind it, and I'm trying to remember which is better. I think the front is better because, like, you know, it's a spider, so presumably, like, the webbing's coming out of the back of it, right? It turns out I was completely wrong. But honestly, I think, you know, we're probably going to be fine. Just basically, you know, keep firing at it. This thing is not going to stand up to much. In fact, if we're lucky, we might be able to kill it right now. Come on, Vice, you've got this. I believe in you. Moonstone cannon that is, yes, further powered up by our lovely new builder friend. And here we go. Right through the face. Mag-cocking-nificent. And this is going to be a lot of damage. Though we may have just got a crit with... oh, blimey, never mind. Okay, I'm kind of feeling bad about this, actually. That was basically just bullying. Still, there was one very important thing about that fight, which is we had Khalifa set, not Osman. And as a result, we pick up the goddess figure and the air purifier. I think both of them can only be got in the event that, yes, you've got Khalifa sets. Right, that done, let's mosey back to Crescent Island, because you may recall previously, we handed over the Book of Polarity to Brabham, and he said come back later, and maybe I can upgrade your ship to start going higher and lower than ever before. Well, guess what's waiting for us back at Crescent Isle? Captain Vise, about that book from Yafutoma. I built an engine for you using the plans in that book. Until now, you haven't been able to fly above or below the clouds because the pressure differences were too hard on your engine. But now, that's not a problem. You'll be able to fly over mountains and beneath large islands. You'll be flying all over the damn place, and he's not wrong. He's basically like just trebled the size of the explorable sky. So that's getting installed overnight, which conveniently, gives us some time to go up to our meeting room and discuss our next big move. Though while we're here by the Delphinus, by the way, one thing I have repeatedly cocking forgotten about is... hang on a minute. There is a moonfish right here in the Delphinus's bloody parking spots. And meanwhile, back above ground... okay. I will say it's an improvement. The fountain is fine, if maybe, a tiny bit on the underwhelming side. The tent is nicer. Honestly, I'm not, thrilled by either of them, but... oh, you know what? The interior, that is nice. So, okay. You in this round, Kerala, good work with the tents. And meanwhile, I'm pretty sure we also requested... oh, yeah. Something scary from the west turns out to be... a big alligator that just sits on his island and looks nice and snappy. I love him. He's gorgeous. Though I can't deny I'm a bit worried about, the fish. The fish might theoretically be in trouble in future. Still, I would say with the purple crystal in hand, how about we call it a part there? But next time, okay. We need to have a chat about, yes, which crystal we're going after next, and as soon as that's done, the new and improved Delphinus will be able to go so many places that we have never been able to get to previously, and there are some really, really fun tiny areas that we could go on a hunt down. So, right, we might just be, nipping round the world and doing a fair bit of exploring next episode, and maybe we'll start work on the next crystal as well. So hopefully you join me for that. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Skies of Arcadia. Thank you very much, and goodbye. If we just hide the bodies, nobody needs to know about this. Yes! My stupid plan has worked! It turns out I'm a genius! The giant rat scorpion is not gone! Oh, hang on, there's more yet, though. I'm still being very shocked. Guys, where's the NCR? Nobody needs to know.